A mini fridge. You can put a 6-pack of candy bars in the freezer. Welcome in to the Bro Force Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 155, and I am your host, the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you so much for checking us out. Before we get started with the movie discussion, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. And first, we go into the paint to our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Now, Geiger, in your opinion, is it still frowned upon to do the move where you extend your hand and then pull it away at the last second in the post-game handshake line of a Little League game?
As long as you use it to run your fingers through your hair like Alan from The Hangover. That was so awesome.
That's a good point.
Did that, because he just learned that, even though that was from like 1998. So as long as you do that, even if you're wearing a hat, it's acceptable.
And it's funny because you basically call someone out for trusting that you would shake their hand. Like, it's really sort of a diss on you at the end of the day, but it's kind of not.
I like the hat move. Even if you're wearing a hat too, that's even a bigger slap in the face.
And Thurman can attest to this. Anytime you're golfing with someone, I'm not sure whether to shake their hand or fist bump them.
We're in a weird time right now.
It's just it's a transitioning period. I don't know.
Even if you take out, whatever people's comfortability level is, fist bumping is just more bro anyway.
Yeah, the handshake will come back on the golf.
Maybe at the end of a round we shake hands, but
yeah,
in the middle of it we got to be bumping fists.
That's true.
All right, that voice you just heard is the American hero Nate Thurman. Now, Nate, I had an auto parts store this week quote me $575 for a $45 part, and I priced this online, to fix my rear view mirror, like the side one on my car, because it cracked. So as someone who's respected in your community, I have to ask, would you recommend that I burn this place's auto shop to the ground, or how should I handle this egregious price gouging?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of common practice at this point if it's that big of price gouging. I would just make sure you go with the patent pending move of pissing on the ashes afterwards. So that's very important.
And then as the cops come by and they're like, "Why are you peeing here?" I'm like, I don't even know anything. What happened? What was this place? A blockbuster?
It was a bathroom, wasn't it? There was a bathroom here. It burned. I'm peeing where a bathroom was. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just trying to put out the flames.
You're welcome.
All right, well, if you have not listened to our show before, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. Now, we're actually doing a bit of a dealer's choice chest day today. So each of us chosen our own topic from the movie or entertainment or TV world that we want to talk about today, and I actually don't think we know each other, so be a little bit of a surprise here. Mainly just because I'm always curious to see what he will come up with. Geiger, let's go to you first. What do you need to get off your chest?
I go last because I just got Google Drive up.
Fine.
I'll jump in and go ahead.
I thought you were going to say because I just got Google. I was like, well, your whole life's about to change.
He's been working off Ask Jeeves for 10 years.
Ask Jeeves, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't you have to type in like a full sentence of a query? You couldn't be like dolphins.
Sounds right.
You'd have to be like, what are dolphins?
What are dolphins?
And Ask Jeeves would be like a fucking butler. Sorry, Nate, what's on your chest?
I'll let Geiger get his shit together over there. But let's talk about movie theaters. So really, I just want to throw it back, get a little nostalgia up in this bitch, and kind of talk about movies theaters growing up, memories you had from it, the snacks you favorited, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'll start off. I mean, it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason because it's true. I mean, popcorn in a movie theater hits different. And I still remember one of the first times going there to an AMC back in the day whenever they started boasting the 20 screens and all this shit. Getting your own pour-on butter, game changer. I remember my mom being pissed at me because she, at the end of the movie, dunked her hand and there was probably like 2 knuckles deep of butter at the bottom.
Yeah, because none of it stays on the actual pop.
There's like a bunch of 14-year-olds after a One Direction concert down there.
Yeah, basically just soaking wet.
I remember my mom would always get mad because they would upsell us like, hey, if you buy the one that's like the size of a trash can, you get free refills. And I was like, Mom, that's a great fucking deal.
Yeah, so then you try to eat the first bag before the credits or before the
100%.
So you can go. It's like, hey, the movie's about to start. Everyone eat up. So we can get
It's just
the
like, first off, even you as an 8-year-old, Jeff Hornacek, don't need 16,000 calories of popcorn
No.
in this movie. Second off, no one wants to leave in the middle of the movie to fucking refill their popcorn and stand in the line again while their movie's playing. But we
Imagine
all
if that
felt
was beer. Imagine if that was beer.
Oh my God.
a dangerous, dangerous time.
I actually have that written on my notes though. Finish half before the movie starts, so you can go refill it again.
Yeah, especially now these trailers are like 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Favorite candies. I mean, just whatever my mom would throw in her purse. I wouldn't really buy anything there.
No.
I didn't really have a go-to for. I mean, Skittles, M&Ms, whatever.
Yeah,
Peanut
so
M&Ms, definitely.
the reason I didn't like Skittles in the movie is you can't tell what flavor Skittle you're eating.
That is true. You're dark. You're in the
It's
dark.
Russian
Blind.
roulette, really. I was a big, I've said this many times on pod. I like Raisinets in a movie, but I've never eaten them, I don't think, in daylight.
Really?
Like, it's just a movie theater snack.
They could be bright red, and I have no idea.
They could literally be shaped like dicks, and I'm just shoveling them into my mouth.
Go-to drink was a cherry Coke. Cherry Coke and popcorn. Man, that just hits so good. I don't know why. I haven't had a cherry Coke in forever, but first
That
movie
does
theater
slap.
experience after the pandemic here. I might have to order one up.
I was a big icy guy, like the white cherry icy was big.
White
or the
cherry,
blue
solid.
See?
Very solid. I know we've gotten spoiled recently with the Alamo Draft Houses. I think that's a regional one, but movie studio movie grill and all that kind of stuff, which are great. You can drink at them and get all the food, but it's good to go down memory lane and think about the good old days. And like the start of like like I said a second ago, like AMC's were like, oh, they're boasting the 20 screens now you have here, the IMAXs and all that kind of stuff. And it was like the hangout spot, especially like 12 to 15 before you could drive, have your mom drop you off in the front, all the kids hanging out.
Wouldn't
was the
even know
best.
what you're seeing. I think Geiger and I
No.
have talked about this. We used to play Time Crisis all the time, that shoot 'em up video game
Yeah.
in the lobby of our movie theater.
Oh yeah. Those were the good old days, but yeah, just wanted to reminisce about that stuff a little bit. And it's good to pump it back up because movie theater is going to be coming back in strong force here soon.
Red hot.
Still, when I see teenagers at the movies, I'm like, I don't want to go to your screening because I don't want to
I know what I was like.
Right. I don't want to hear you making out or whatever the fuck is going to be happening behind me while I'm
I
trying
just
to watch.
don't ever understand how movie theaters were like Public Enemy 1 through COVID. It seemed to me as one of the safest places to go to, I guess. Like you never intermingle with people. I mean, as long as they disinfect it in between movies, I don't really. I mean, I understood a bar, but not a movie theater, I guess.
What do you do differently at a bar than sitting within a foot of someone at a movie theater for 3 hours?
Movie theaters, you like social distance. I mean, you wouldn't have a packed theater, but and people aren't working, so people will go to a 12 o'clock matinee on a Tuesday more now when it was locked down and shit.
It's a good point.
AMC, when they were open, they actually had I went a couple times. They did like the seat blocking out thing, which I think they still do. I'm full force back in the theaters though, so
Easy enough. I need to make that first pilgrimage back out there, and you had to choose wisely though to make sure the first movie is a killer. So,
gotta say
I'm
they should pay me because I give AMC A-List so much credit, but it actually is probably the best. If you're planning on going to at least 3 movies, actually more than 1 movie a month, you're already getting your money's worth because it's $20
yeah.
for a week, and you can reserve your seats, which is nice. You don't have to do it like at the theater.
Well, that was a nice trip down memory lane. Geiger, are you ready now?
Yeah, I was prepared. I couldn't find my fucking notes because I actually really want your guys' opinion on this.
Let's hear it.
So, Fast and the Furious 9. Jesus,
Yes.
not drunk enough to say that yet. 9 of them is coming out. So I want to know your guys' opinion on it. I got like 3 questions on this. So John Cena, it premiered in Taiwan first, and he called Taiwan a country, and then some people got all anal about that. I guess China got anal about it because China considers it like part of
A territory, yeah.
And so Cena did a apology in Mandarin, which is actually impressive. I didn't know he spoke Mandarin. And I think I'm pretty credible to talk about John Cena as a big WWE fan. Just for a long, I fucking hate him. I've never liked him, just because he's basically just a cartoon Hulk Hogan, which I think is everything wrong with wrestling. That's not really the point. My question to you guys is, one, do you think that'll hurt the American box office because it's so politically charged right now that China and Russia is like bad? Two, have you guys ever give me an example of something, if you can, where something happened and you just stopped watching? Like something happened in the NBA and you got so pissed that you stopped watching, or a movie, somebody said something about, like, if you're Jewish or something, your religion, that you won't watch. And three, like, does this even, like, why is this news? I guess, like, why is this movie news? I get why John Cena kind of looks like a pussy, but I think he's always looked like a pussy. But I kind of get where he's coming from too, where he's just like, dude, like, China will just fucking boycott my movie. I know that we don't like it. I mean, their country's kind of a shithole. Like, we wouldn't want to live there. But once again, like, I mean, he would never get a job again if he didn't apologize for that. So, do you think it matters? Have you guys ever just boycotted something because of that? And do you think it'll hurt the American box office?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt the American box office at all. I mean, it may disrupt kind of global numbers and all that kind of stuff. But onto the other point, I mean, if you listen to this podcast at all, it takes a lot to offend us. And we've said some pretty questionable things. And yeah, there's been tons of controversial things. I'm not going to like cancel things or anything like that just because one person said something, or the whole people hating Nike because of Kaepernick and all that shit. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's a whole brand or whole company, and that's one person. It's not gonna move the needle for me.
I cancel like media.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff. But I think it's the older generation. Because our generation, sure. I don't think I know anybody, unless you're like really hardcore, like into politics. I don't know anyone that's ever been like, I ain't watching football anymore because he knelt. I've never met anyone like that that's our age, that's our friend.
Yeah.
We have too many fantasy football teams.
It's too important. Our team might go 7-8 and win it. You never fucking, like, you'd expect me not to watch.
Yeah. I cancel things when they piss me off for stuff that happens like in the show. Like, I won't tell you what happens, but season 4 of Dexter to me was like the perfect way to end the show. So that's when I stopped watching. So I canceled Dexter after that ending and saw the people that are like, dude, it gets really bad. I'm like, well, that sucks for you. I jumped ship.
Canceled Star Wars then, didn't I?
Say that again?
I guess I kind of canceled Star Wars.
That's true.
Yeah,
and I respect you for that.
They made a shit. To quote Aldous Snow, it's a shithole movie. Like, they made a terrible movie. That's why I canceled it.
And a 4-foot crap movie.
Yeah.
It's really interesting when people say, oh, this is going to hurt because a lot of people aren't going to see it. But I feel that the people that pissed off wasn't probably going to go see this movie anyway. And I think that's a lot of the thing on cancel culture when they're like, dude, the people you're pissing off, aren't into golf or aren't into NFL anyway. So what the fuck do you care? Like,
yeah, I've seen some people, I can't remember who the musician was, but like boomers were like, I'm never listening to your music again. I was like, dude, you don't listen to fucking Billie Eilish. Like, what are you even talking?
Do you know any of her songs anyway?
You can't boycott something you never use.
Two things I'll leave you with that really piss me off is when, and I'm not trying to be like Mr. Millennial here, but when, say, the older generation talks shit on, not even, I don't consider like some of the music now my music. I'm more like a Foo Fighters guy. But I'm like, come on, like Jim Morrison was whipping out his dick on stage and pissing on people and getting arrested. Like, you can't really like say
it was art, Matt.
And I love the Doors. Like, I love rock and roll. But I'm saying, like, when your generation, like Elvis shaking his hips was the devil back in '56. And the only thing I'll say, like, about Nike, like, yeah, I know it's hypocritical whenever they talk about like, hey, we need to, you're a Nike spokesperson. Like, we need to end, racial divide in the United States, which I agree with. But you're saying that as Nike, who uses sweatshops to do it, but that's not going to stop me from wearing Nike golf shoes. They look cool and they're comfortable. So I'm just going to call you a hypocrite, but I'm not going to. I've never met anyone that's like, I'll never fucking buy that again. They might say it, but they won't do it. I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. I was just wondering if your guys' opinion, because he got roasted on Twitter for this for a while. Cena, which I loved as a WWE fan because I hate him. Not anything to do with political stuff.
There's too many people in the world for it to hurt anything because, yeah, some people are going to be pissed off, but there's literally a billion other people who are on the other side.
Well, and people that are a fan of Fast 9 aren't like the smartest.
No offense,
brother. I mean, look at opening night. We're like, yeah, he has a brother, cool, whatever. And Hans back sounds great.
That's literally me. They said Hans back. I'm like, that's so dumb. When do tickets go on sale?
I'll pre-order. When can I pre-order?
All right. So my chest day kind of actually speaking of the Fast and Furious franchise, I want to talk about someone, Tyrese Gibson.
Yes.
I have a few things happen this week involving Tyrese that just triggered a few questions for me. So this is according to Variety.com. Sony Pictures, who of course is producing the Morbius movie starring Jared Leto. Apparently, I didn't know this, but Tyrese is also in the film as well. Sony Pictures has backtracked on comments made by Morbius star Tyrese Gibson this week, who recently appeared to claim that the new Marvel movie, obviously it's a Marvel property, but not made by Marvel Studios, takes place in the same world occupied by the inhabitants of Marvel Studios and Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. They also were reported to have denied another claim by Gibson, who said that the release of the movie was being moved to October 22nd in order to, quote, take advantage of that Halloween energy, end quote. According to Sony, the movie is not set in the MCU, and the release is still going ahead as planned in January. So I guess this is kind of a very broad question. Matt, we'll start with you. Number one, is Tyrese insane? Like, what is he even doing? But I guess the other thing I have to ask, how is this guy even still in Hollywood? Like, he's not talented. I don't get it. Why is he still in movies?
Is there a more 2020 headline than Morbius star Tyrese Gibson? Like I'm like, why is he in this film? That makes no
idea.
Sense. And is he crazy, Jeff? No, he's a genius. I mean, yes, that should be in fucking October, not January. It does look kind of scary crowish to me. It would be perfect in October.
But he didn't say, I think it should.
That'd be fucking amazing. So maybe he's a genius. That's actually smart.
But he didn't say, I think it should come out in October. He said it is coming out in October.
Well, yeah. I mean, why do you... How this guy still gets roles, and I don't have them in front of me, but I mean, give me a list of actors that are way more deserving that got pushed to TV or came and fucking get a call back now. But Tyrese somehow gets in the Fast and the Furious franchise, and then now in a Morbius franchise that could lead to like 4 or 5 other movies is insane.
He's lucky as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Nate, how about you? What's
I mean, he may be a little bit crazy, but yeah, to Geiger's point here, he may be genius because you're questioning why he's still around or how he's still around. I don't have the answer for it, but he's obviously doing something right or pleasing some people. So he may be a different type of genius that we don't know about that's keeping him around in the business. But yeah, his claim for this thing is just kind of at left field. I'm not sure if he got this approved or he's just kind of going off the cuff.
I'm actually shocked, and Matt, I mean, now that we have hindsight on this, I'm shocked he didn't take the Ja Rule approach after his one Fast and Furious movie and think he was too cool to answer the phone when they called him again, because I could just as easily see him in the early 2000s being like, bro, I don't need this shit. I'm fucking Tyrese Gibson. And now it's his only paycheck that he has.
He was hot.
My second question, is Sony lying about the MCU thing? Because Tyrese, in the interview I saw, they straight up say, is this movie set in the MCU? And he literally just goes, yes. So do you think he just doesn't know what the MCU is, or is Sony trying to play?
He knows what it is.
Yeah, he was probably just trying to be agreeable.
I guess we'll know in a couple months. If it comes out in October, then it's like the Jose Canseco thing. Once one lie is proven true, then pretty much all the lies are proven true.
I guess. And then the last one, Nathan, we'll start with you. When Jared Leto saw that Tyrese was cast alongside him in Morbius, do you think he went to his agent and said, okay, what the fuck is this movie again?
No, because I think Jared Leto is crazy enough to just see beyond what Tyrese really is, and he probably in the back of his mind saw this as some really big artistic move for the movie. He's like, oh, okay, I see where they're going with this. This is going to be great. And we're getting Tyrese in here, and everyone else was like, yeah, sure, man, yeah, it's great. But he may be the only one who was actually cool with it, other than the person who brought Tyrese on.
Matt, what do you think?
Every time I'm asked about Jared Leto, I'm going to say the exact same thing from here on out. During the first 2 weeks of COVID, he was out in the mountains smoking peyote, and when he got back, he didn't know why everything was closed. That's what you need to know about Jared Leto.
It's a true story.
It's a true story, too.
I love it. That's amazing.
How many text messages do you think he had?
Why can't I go in Lowe's?
Why can't I go in Lowe's?
It's the first thing he needs to do.
See Jared Leto walking in Lowe's?
No.
Sand.
Unless he's literally going in there to get some pipe to make his own pipe to smoke out of. His own homemade pipe.
The guy in the Lowe's is like, Jared, you don't know? Oh, man, I was out in the desert finding myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool, man. I don't know what that means. You need a new toilet? I don't know.
I don't have the exact quotes, but also in the Variety article, they asked him about working with Jared Leto, and basically Tyrese said, that dude's crazy, man. But then he tries to spin it into a compliment, but you can tell that Tyrese, even on set's like, wow, you take this way more fucking seriously than I do.
Method actor.
He gets it in the way of himself of getting ass a lot. Like, he's a great lead singer, a great method actor, really good looking dude, but I bet he gets in his own way of getting ass a lot. Because any girl, like my wife's in love with him, and I'm like, if you ever met him, you would hate him. Guaranteed.
Yeah, like there's no way you could
100%.
even put up with him for an hour at a bar before he take you back. You're like, oh my god, this guy's fucking insufferable. Like, Jared, all you have to do is just shut the fuck up.
Just for like 20 minutes and I'll fuck you.
Yeah.
That's it.
We have the opposite problem.
Oh, man.
All right. Anything else, or ready to move on?
Let's move on.
All right. The second part of our show is our, protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I have 4.5 things, because one is just a movie commentary that I'm going to plug for us. Nate, how many things do you have? About the same?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go round robin. Geiger, you can go first. Geiger, what's in your...
Well, if Thurman hasn't watched this, he should before tomorrow. Tomorrow's first round of the U.S. Open, so of course I watched Tin Cup. Got to.
Solid.
Check out me and Thurman's commentary on that, too.
Yeah, we did that a while back. It was fun.
Have a couple thou by now. Fucking greatest golf movie ever, for sure. It's way better than another movie that I'll mention later, and then also Caddyshack as a golf movie. I like both of those, but Tin Cup is a actual realistic golf movie about life on the tour. There's no crazy shit that happens other than him just dropping the ball at the same spot and fucking taking a 12 at the end. Yeah. But there's no like Mighty Ducks like, oh, maybe if I hit it off this guy or I use a funny ball or any cheating or anything like that. And Kevin Costner is Kevin Costner. Talked about this, but Don Johnson is so fucking great in that role. He's such a prick. How I've always felt like Phil Mickelson is. I've always felt like Phil is like that. Like he's really fake, and then behind the scenes, he's probably the biggest prick ever. I don't know why he just always rubbed me like that. Rene Russo's great in it. Cheech Marin. You gotta watch it before the fucking U.S. Open. It gets you amped, especially that last scene. Whenever he's up at the crack of dawn, just hitting balls because he's in contention, just fucking like it gets you fucking ready to play golf. Great movie.
Yeah, it's all about the grind, which is the name of the game in golf. You never see yourself as good in your own eyes, no matter how well you're playing.
What's awesome too is I was just thinking, Thurman, like you and me and like two other guys, we just travel in a Winnebago for like 2 months out of the summer and just play a bunch of courses. That'd be like the most fun fucking thing ever.
I'm down. You could definitely talk me into that. I'll quit my job.
Is there a better sports movie actor than Kevin Costner?
No.
Pretty solid. I mean, he's been in some...
Field of Dreams, For Love of the Game, Draft Day.
Yeah. I mean, Tin
He's
Cup,
been in
obviously.
some winners. That'd be a good thing to talk about and knock out later.
You could argue the worst sports movie he's in is Draft Day. I know some people don't like that, but I fucking love that movie.
It's a great movie. Anytime it's on, I stop down and watch it.
Yeah, it's just a premise we never see, like a GM solely on the day of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get his shit together. All right, Nate, what's in your cup?
The first thing I have on my list is Behind Her Eyes, which was suggested to me recently. I think it's only like 7 episodes. It's on Netflix. It's a show about a single mom who falls in love and starts having an affair with her boss, who's a psychiatrist, but then also befriends his wife as well and has a good friendship with her. So you can obviously see where this is going and where there might be some issues that arise down the road. So really great, really, I mean, knocked it out in less than a week. It went really fast. It is it's a British show, and I just say that because I think most people, it's set in London and all the people in it are British. But I know when you say British show, some people get like a different context. Like you could put this in America and still have the same plot, and it would have the same outcome.
People in America still have sex with their bosses.
Yes, all this stuff could definitely happen in America. There's no like weird British twist or European twist on it. But really great twists and turns at the end, especially like the last 2 episodes. Kind of like a psychotic thriller series. So highly recommend it. It's a good one.
This is on my list after Mayor of Easttown.
Boom.
Which I guess that segue, I'll just let you. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, let's jump on that for a second. That's a little crossover we have. Go ahead.
So I'm only 1 episode in. You are 3 in. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, started off really great. The writing is awesome. I can tell they're going to lead us on a great journey. And I trust HBO in resolving this. But I've had a ton of people suggest this to me, so finally tuned into it. Kate Winslet is great. I don't know the guy's name, but Roy from The Office is in it.
Yeah. Guy Pearce.
Ex-husband. What's that?
Guy Pearce is in it.
Yes. That too.
See Guy Pearce. He's looking old in this. I don't know if they're like aging him up or if that's actually how old he looks now.
Yeah, that's a good question. But what you get, you kind of get like a feel of like a True Detective almost. You get that kind of vibe. So,
and the first episode, this isn't a spoiler, but there is a murder that happens. I think that's kind of like the show. But they do a really good job of setting up a lot of different suspects, I think, which is the key to all these.
Yeah, and through 3 episodes, you're kind of bouncing back and forth, creating your own theories, like who killed this person. And I still do, I have a good idea, but I feel like the wool has been thrown over my eyes. I don't even think I'm right in my assumption.
As Matt always says with these shows, it just makes you not fucking trust anyone. Not even my own wife sleeping next to me. It's actually especially.
Everyone's a killer. She's too quiet.
Yeah, what's her fucking deal?
Well, she's sleeping, so I don't know.
That's even more suspicious. So yeah, we'll have to report back once we finish. I mean, I'm going to probably binge through this shit pretty fast.
It hooks you quick.
In fact, I'm about to hang up the call and just go watch episode 2.
Bye.
I watched a movie that I'm unabashedly was very excited to watch, and that is the movie Freaky. Matt, you're going to roll your eyes. This was that Vince Vaughn movie from last year. He is rolling his eyes. The premise is Vince Vaughn, it's a horror comedy movie. Vince Vaughn plays a serial killer who accidentally grabs this like cursed knife from this
Geiger just fell asleep.
From this rich person's house, and he attempts to stab and murder this girl, but actually instead of killing her, what the knife does is it has Vince Vaughn, the serial killer, and this 16-year-old teenage girl switch bodies. And hilarity ensues. I laughed way more.
Again, and watch this fucking.
I'm in. I'm putting it on my list right now.
It's very short. I will say that it's like an hour 20 minutes. I laughed way more than I would care to admit. And look, man, Vince Vaughn, of course, it was a paycheck gig, but dude, he has fun with it. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. Is it a good movie? No, I'm not going to sit here and fucking die on this grenade, but I think with movies like this, like Freaky, their thought process is, look, if you read the plot synopsis and you decided to turn this on, I mean, you know what you're getting, right? We're not.
Yeah.
If we got you in the theater, it's the bill of goods we sold you. I had fun with Freaky. Another thing I'll mention real quick before I throw it back over to Matt. We did a movie commentary for the upcoming Fast and Furious movie. It's actually just dropped probably about a week ago as you're listening to this. But we did a movie commentary on Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And Matt, just as a little tease, this was actually the first time you had ever seen this movie, even though I'm not even ironically, I'm a huge fan of this. So what can you say about your thoughts?
I thought this movie was a complete piece of shit. So check out the commentary to see if I still believe that or I change my mind. We'll tease.
That's a good tease, yeah.
Man, it sounds like you really liked it.
You might be surprised. Or you might not be. I don't know. Banner and I loved it. I mean, I've seen it like 10 times in my life, and Banner a little bit behind me. But I'll say this: as the Fast and Furious franchise continues to expand, this movie, just as a result of not getting any worse over the years, keeps moving up and up the rankings. No, this is a product of existing. All right, Matt, what's something else you watched?
Okay, so of course, Golf Week, U.S. Open. One of my favorite golf tournaments, and I would argue this year it's better than the Masters because since it's on the West Coast at Torrey, we're going to get primetime golf, and you can watch golf till like 9 o'clock.
Love it.
And also, a couple episodes
TV has
ago,
to love that.
I talked about Billy Madison and about how Adam Sandler, is he that great, or did he have a great supporting cast around him? And his new movies he doesn't, and that's why they suck. So I watched Happy Gilmore, and this supporting cast, my God. Talk about having role players around you. Shooter McGavin's fucking great. Of course, Chubbs, Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm.
Still the show. The whole
Absolute
his
scene
grandma's
steal.
even funny. Like, there's so much humor around this where Adam Sandler has so much help, and he can't carry a movie. He fucking can't. And he couldn't carry a Saturday Night Live skit. That's just not him, unless it was a song. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But I think a lot of the problems with his movies now is that his supporting cast, the characters just aren't well written. They're not funny. They're not well casted, which is a lot of his fault because he's just casting his fucking buddies now. But man, these first couple, Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, were so well casted and well written with the characters around him. And you take out Kevin Nealon, you take out Shooter McGavin, you take out Chubbs Peterson, you take out all these guys. That movie's not that good with just his lines alone. And go back and rewatch both of them and see if I'm wrong. But I would think around half, maybe over half the times you laugh are from somebody other than Adam Sandler.
So Adam Sandler's grandma in the movie, Frances Bay, over or under dead?
She's also in the Wedding Singer. Was she that same?
Oh, was she his grandma on that too?
Or old?
Yeah,
No, she wasn't the grandma, but she was the singer. She was giving her singer. I don't know. She's
Towards
probably
what you're about to say.
I mean, I feel like she died while
all
filming.
old bags look the same to me. Sorry.
I mean, it was kind of a joke. Yeah, she's way dead. She died in 2011 at 92. So lived a good life.
Damn.
Lived a good life.
To plug our own podcast episode, I'm looking up right now, 144. We did basically a retrospective for the 25th birthday of Happy Gilmore. And then, Matt, I don't even know if you remember this, but way back when the podcast started, I think in 2018 or 17, we did a Broback review on Happy Gilmore also.
Sure we did. Great film.
Go check both of those out.
HBO Max. Both of them, Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
And Julie Bowen, I mean, has she ever not been hot?
She's great in that.
Yeah.
I mean, before she was 18, yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Legally speaking.
Correct.
Once Big Daddy is, I always consider that the end. Because he meets all his buddies. He's like, what if I just have my buddies in every movie? And then The first couple times it was cute, then after a while it's just an eye roll. Like, of course
Right.
he's in.
And I hate to put all the blame on Rob Schneider, but that's to the point where I was like, oh, so you really don't have to be funny or talented at all as long as they just know you. You'll put them in the fucking film.
I don't know how Nick Swartzen got in that group, but he was in it for a while, and I'm like, okay, this is enough. I can't do this anymore.
How long after Big Daddy was Mr. Deeds?
Not too long. That movie's not bad.
It's okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, definitely you can kind of start to see the quality decline.
But that's Fast and the Furious again, Jeff. After What's to Come, like Mr. D's kind of a letdown, we thought, and then we're like, actually, maybe we need to give this another watch because he's going way downhill.
I mean, yeah, you compare like his Netflix stuff to that, and Mr. Deeds looks like The Godfather Part 2.
Whew. Yeah, that stuff is rough.
Yes. Nate, how about you? What else you
got? Let's see. I'll go with this one. The last one I have a little crossover with you, so we can talk about that. But been on the Bad Batch, the new Star Wars Disney Plus animated series, which a lot of people are calling Clone Wars Season 7 or 8, whatever. Yeah, 7, whatever the last one. I don't know. The tag on.
They're calling it that, though.
To Clone Wars, yeah. Which, honestly, I'm not really seeing it as that. There are a few connections, and I'm hoping there's more. Me and Banner, and hopefully, if Horns gets there in time, we can do a season review afterwards. But really great. I was picking up kind of off of Clone Wars because that was a really great animated series, and I was hesitant to jump in it just because it was animated. You kind of think, oh, it's made for kids, but it really expands the Star Wars universe, and you get to learn a lot more background on people. And Bad Batch just kind of picks up where that is left off. And I think there's going to be some cool things come up in the season.
I got to say, Matt, I hate to bring this back up because I know we had just moved on from it. But as I'm watching Clone Wars, and I think I have 2 episodes left in season 1.
Ooh, nice.
There are so many episodes that I'm like, dude, this would have just been a better movie than Rian Johnson's piece of shit, The Last Jedi. Like, just make this episode a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely do that with really any of the seasons for Clone Wars. Kind of consolidate it and make it into a movie that's great.
With a Barbie, a G.I. Joe action figure, and a button could have made a better fucking movie. What Ryan Johnson put on that fucking screen.
That definitely would have made more sense.
Yeah. All right.
I'm intrigued. All right, I watched a show that actually is like really picking up steam since it aired. An animated, really dark superhero series called Invincible on Amazon Prime. Have you guys heard of this?
I have not.
The voice cast is absolutely insane. Let me pull it up as I'm talking about it. But it is, I think, 8 30 to 35-minute episodes. And I believe it's renewed for a season 2. Pretty much has to be. But, dude, it's like the type of show that you watch it and like halfway through episode 1, you're like, I mean, this is kind of cool, but like, what's special about this? Like 50 million of these shows exist.
This is intriguing just looking at it right here.
Yeah, so the cast, as I'm scrolling through it, J.K. Simmons, Mahershala Ali, Ezra Miller, Sandra...
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins is in it a lot.
Love it.
Jillian Jacobs, Zachary Quinto, Clancy Brown, Mark Hamill, John Hamm, Seth Rogen. I mean, a lot of names you recognize.
Sandra Oh.
From Grey's Anatomy. But if you watch it, I think the first episode's like 35 minutes. And again, as it's happening, you're like, yeah, I mean, this is a cool show, but like the show has been made 10 times. And then the end of episode 1 happens, and the last 3 minutes.
Names like 12 A-listers. Thurman's like, Sandra O's in it.
Like, I guess. She pay you to bring her up?
I just recognized the name. I had to say it. I've actually never even seen Grey's Anatomy.
That's what's drawing you in?
That's the sell.
He said all the other big ones.
Up on that. But again, the end of episode 1, you're like, holy shit. Okay, I'm in. And it's one of those endings to an episode where you immediately start episode 2. You're like, I did not fucking see that ending coming. And it kind of lets you know that this show is not fucking around. So
I'm definitely intrigued. This is
Matt, you would love the end of episode
Really
1.
interesting.
I mean, it's like the shit that goes down is
Might give it a whip.
yeah. Quick watch. I watched it in like a day and a half. That's actually what kind of put me behind on Clone Wars because I was trucking through Clone Wars and then I saw this thing and I was like, well, fuck, now I gotta watch it.
That's awesome.
All right. The last thing I had you and I share. Well, I'll mention this also real quickly. I watched Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix, which, dude, I really dug this. Man, I don't know if you've heard about this. So Mark Miller, who wrote for Marvel and DC, a few years ago, he was like, dude, fuck you guys. I'm a genius. I'm going to make my own comic book universe instead of writing for you guys. And it's called Miller World. And Jupiter's Legacy is like the first comics that he wrote.
Okay.
It's like a dark version of the Justice League with like all new heroes that he created. And the series didn't do great at Netflix, but it's getting a spin-off sequel. But I actually really dug it. It stars Josh Duhamel and Leslie Bibb, who is probably most famous for being Ricky Bobby's wife in Talladega Nights. But I thought it was really interesting. And also...
what's his name's wife?
Yeah, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good for him. And there is a chance that a main actor from the show who's in the spinoff series might be coming on the podcast. So,
Spoiler.
a little bit of a tease, yeah. But I really dug it. It's does not shy away from drug use or violence, which is typically always intriguing in the superhero world because it's like a unique look at it. I just honestly watching this thing, I get why Netflix isn't doing the second season just because it looks expensive as fuck to make. Like every episode, like there's some huge effect that normally a TV show can't sustain.
So just looking at this and pulling it up for the first time, I'm very intrigued. And I don't think you're on The Boys, are you?
No, but I actually was hearing that it got a lot of... I think that's the reason a lot of people didn't watch it, is they were like, this just seems like The Boys, but not as good.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a go though if it's similar to The Boys because I love
What's
The Boys.
The Boys on? Is that on Amazon?
That's on Amazon,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish more people would have given Jupiter's Legacy a shot because to me it just doesn't... It's really hard these days to do something with superheroes that I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that. And that's like all that Jupiter's Legacy is. It's like trying to reinvent the genre, and it's just pushing the boundaries the whole time.
I'm gonna have to give this a go because that's exactly what Boys brought to the table. It gave a different spin on it. It kind of corporatized, if that's a word, the superhero industry. So it was pretty cool.
So Matt, what I think you might like about this, so Jupiter's Legacy, there's like an older team of superheroes, and then like basically like this like younger, like our generation of superheroes. Basically it'd be like our parents and us. And the older generation of superheroes is like, no, we have to be politically correct, we can't kill. And the younger generation of superheroes is like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not how the world is. Like the bad guys are trying to kill us and they're raping and murdering people. Like we can't just tell them to knock it off and put them in prison every time.
Okay.
So it's about, yeah.
Yeah,
and
I'm
a lot
down
of
on this.
The younger superheroes, okay, maybe they party and do blow. Like, do we have to be Latter-day Saints also?
From 9 to 5, though, I'm superhero.
I think there actually is a scene where one of them gets caught like blitzed out of their mind on cocaine, and an older superhero goes, "Why'd you have to do this in uniform?" I'm like, that's the problem.
Because I look cool in my uniform.
Just take off your Best Buy shirt before you smoke pot, Darren.
Yeah.
All right, last thing I had Nate and I shared. So Matt, you got anything else?
I got one more thing. I saw this on IVC. I haven't watched this in a while. Saving Silverman.
I love Saving.
You got some good throwbacks.
Fucking great, dude. It's so good. It made me laugh and then made me pretty depressed because in that year, that was probably like the third or fourth best comedy. That's how many great comedies were coming out from like 98 to 2004. But man, Jason Biggs, Jack Black,
Steve Zahn.
Amanda Peet, yeah, Zazon, and then the guy from Full Metal Jacket. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's great as their old football
Oh
coach.
god, yeah. What's the guy's name?
And then their cover band is named Diamonds in the Rough because they're like Neil Diamond heads.
Yeah.
Jack Black has a restraining order from Neil Diamond because he's like tried to like steal his jacket and like keeps it in love letters. And Jack Black realizes he's gay. Man, this is such a fucking great comedy, and especially when he's just like they're losing their friend. So what do? Instead of talk to him, you just steal his girlfriend and capture her, put it in your basement, so maybe he'll get over her, and then just send a letter like she died off a car cliff. It's such a fucking great comedy.
When Jason Biggs is like Silverman, obviously, is like all depressed that Judith is gone, and Jack Black's like, maybe she didn't die, maybe she was kidnapped. And he's like, you think? And he goes, no. Why would that happen in a world?
Jeff, the one I forgot, and this made me like literally laugh out loud. I almost woke up the kid. But when they went to prison to talk to the coach, he's like, "We got this problem with this girl." He's like, "Kill her." He's like, "Wait, you didn't even
right away."
I haven't even explained the problem. What's the line?
Story, that the whole story. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Just kill her."
Matt, what's the quote that the coach has after they rehash the story about when he killed that ref? And they're like, "Well," Steve Zahn's like, "Well, he did make a shitty call."
Well, he's in there because he threw the the first down marker at the ref, like the whole thing, and it stuck in his chest and killed him. And he said, "So how's it looking, coach?" He's like, "Well, I got a court ending, but it doesn't look good. The victim's whiny family is protesting." Like lost their dad.
Wasn't Jack Black? Yeah, he was the mascot, right? Because he keeps the uniform.
Yeah,
he was the mascot. Jason Biggs was the cheerleader. And then Steve Zahn was like a backup quarterback.
One of my probably top 50 movie lines of all time is the scene where Jack Black is in his mascot uniform to try and hide his identity from Judith while she's captured. And he's bringing her a box of some videos for entertainment. And he's like, all right, what do you want? We got porno and we got monster trucks. And we got one with both.
I would love to see that.
Jack Black works at Subway. He went to Subway University.
Yeah, really underrated comedy.
What'd you say that was on?
IFC, which is like it's just a movie channel that I have on my cable. But like there's no commercials and there's no like if it's rated R, it's rated R. Like they say everything. I've watched Pulp Fiction on there a couple times.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to give another go. I don't think I've seen that. I used to watch that like once a year from like eighth grade.
That was definitely a high school, like freshman year of college movie. 100%. And you haven't watched it in a while, and it's like, man, it still holds up. It's fucking great. I mean, it's funnier than any of the American Pies, I think.
It's hard to believe Jason Biggs. I mean, he is like so typecast and such a niche actor that he was in so many movies in the early aughts.
Yeah.
He's good in all of them, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good in this.
Agreed.
All right, Nate, you want to close us out?
Yeah, and I'm kind of cheating on this one because I've only watched half of it, and I need to go back and finish. Well, I'm like 3/4 of the way through it, but got late at night and turned it off because I need to go to bed. But In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda's new joint that he's put out.
Adapted from Heights.
Yeah, adapted from his play. And after seeing Hamilton, and I've seen it literally 20 times now, I'll just throw it on in the background sometimes. It's fucking phenomenal. I'm a huge fanboy of that.
Hamilton, right?
Yeah, what'd I say?
Well, no, I don't know if you were now talking about In the Heights or.
I may have not even said Hamilton.
No, you did. I just didn't know what you were referring to as what you have on in the background.
Yeah, I'll throw Hamilton on in the background, but yeah, I've literally seen it probably like 20 plus times now. Mm-hmm. And this one holds up so far. It's pretty solid. There's some Hamilton cues in there, references that are thrown in that are great. But yeah, Anthony Ramos, who was Hamilton's son, and then also John Lawrence in Hamilton, does great as a leading man in this. He really takes over. But I loved it so far, so I need to finish it. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so I saw this in theaters at that like AMC Dolby Sound Theater. We saw Justice League in.
Yeah, the only thing about Justice League was that theater.
Right. So I took my fiance and my mom because they wanted to see it. And Nate, I'm glad you have that experience because I did not enjoy In the Heights.
Really?
I mean, it drags on and on and on. There is half a banger in the whole movie. Have you got to the 96,000 song yet at the water park?
Yeah, that one's good.
That's the banger. That's it. That's all we got. Nothing else bangs. If I have to hear this chick one more time tell her boyfriend to shut up so she can, quote, listen to my block, I'm going to lose it. That's not how you have a conversation with people.
It's a little corny. It's a little cheesy there.
Matt, this girl's boyfriend will be like mid-sentence and she'll go, stop, let me listen to my block. And he's like, I was actually like telling you something really important, but
I could see Jeff with his aisle seat at AMC A-list, just with his fucking legs crossed, looking to the side, rolling his eyes, and then his fiance is like, "Just give it a chance." Just like I was like, "No, it'll have its time on pod. Like I'll give it its full due." Like just
now,
this is.
I will say this, Nate. The ending is the best part. Like my main issue with it is not as many bangers. Actually, nowhere near as many bangers as Hamilton. The cast is incredibly talented. They're great singers, and the dancing is awesome. But like, this is not a soundtrack I want to go back and re-listen to, unlike Hamilton.
No,
But
and I can agree with you on that. And I've gotten to the Abuela song in the subway when the blackout drags
the
a
weirdest
little
part
bit.
of the whole movie.
Yes, I completely agree. It drags there.
That part's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Definitely went to take a piss when that came on. Didn't even have to go, really. It just spins like 5 or 6 different storylines. Like, and it's like, we don't really know which of these are important. Then the last 20 minutes, it actually settles on one. And that's when it's a really good story, I think, and has an impact. But I mean, it is just way too at 2 hours and 21 minutes, dude. I couldn't. It was
like
rough.
I said, we turned it on late at night and like, okay, we'll knock this out. And then all of a sudden we realized, oh shit, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go to bed. We're gonna finish this later.
Avengers Endgame.
Like, when it's a comic book movie, like I'm a Batman fan, a 2 hour 20-minute Batman movie, that's cool. But when it's just a casual night, hey, me and my wife want to go see a movie. This looks good. Fuck, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm just eye rolling. I just want to like watch a movie. I don't want to watch it that.
Yeah, I got you on that.
But there's just a lot of story arcs that like just there's too many of them. Like Nene, his cousin, Jimmy Smith's whole character, the whole salon moving, like all that stuff just doesn't. I won't tell you like how things are resolved, but like
they get a lot going on.
Right, there's a lot of things. They throw out a lot of threads and they don't really pull on any of them.
That's maybe in the life of Washington Heights or
Washington Heights.
Yeah,
that's the part I remember. But the dancing in it's awesome.
Yeah,
and Lin-Manuel Miranda has a fun little
cameo.
Yeah.
Well, it's a part of the movie. It's not just a cameo.
I wish I just would have seen it on HBO Max instead of in theaters, although the sound was good. But like Matt was saying, 2 hours, 21 minutes of something that's kind of feeling itself too much was just a little tough for me.
Feeling myself.
All right, you guys have anything else before we move on to the last part of our show?
That wraps it up.
Normally, this is where Banner would make his like parrot noise to get us here. The last part of our show is our Do You Even Lift Bruh segment, where we ask a question that we leave you people with. And I guess the question this week, I'm just going to bring up a tweet that came out and what are your thoughts? And I don't think Matt has seen this yet, so I'm really excited to see what he has to say. So Culture Crave online at Culture Crave tweeted this, but also I think it was on a couple other sites. Nate, I can't remember the source you sent to us. Do you remember where you?
All over the place. That's where I saw it.
So there is a Harley Quinn animated series on the Sci-Fi Channel, which supposedly people love. Like it's raunchy, it's pretty funny. A couple celebrities have come on and actually voiced themselves. I've heard like Harley Quinn will kill them on the show. They said it's kind of like a modern day Beavis and Butthead taking place in the Batman universe. And an article came out this past week that says DC and Warner Brothers, this is according to Culture Crave, asked the Harley Quinn team to remove a scene in season 3 where Batman goes down on Catwoman because, and this is the quote from Warner Brothers, quote, "Heroes don't do that," end quote. So tell me you don't go down on your wife without telling me you don't go down on your wife, first off. Matt, what are your thoughts on this? Anything you want to take this in? Any direction?
Yeah, it was Vicky Vale, but it's Catwoman, man. You got to go down Catwoman. You got to, if you want it, you got to give it. You know what I mean?
What's the line in "I Love You, Man,"
Tell
Nate?
you what I mean.
Nate and "I Love You, Man," Jason Segel's toast, where he goes, "Return the favor."
Return the favor. The old pistol's a pleasure giver. I know that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never seen I've seen the HBO Max Batmans that they don't get raunchy, but they get a little close to more PG-13. But I can't even imagine, like, is this something on RedTube? Like, is this? I don't.
So season 3 is coming to HBO Max apparently. And I had this written down here just because I thought it was so funny. So the co-creator Justin Halpern said this whenever he was talking to DC and was like, "You can't do that. You absolutely can't do that. Heroes don't do that." And so he came back and said, "So we said, are you saying heroes are just selfish lovers?" That's like, that's amazing.
Balls in your court.
Yeah, your move.
Well, the first thing I'll say is now, I mean, they have to like release that scene or put it in something else, right?
I mean, it's going to get out there somehow.
People need to see how this fit into the story.
I just, yeah, the memeability of this has been amazing. I've seen the Batman logo that they shine in the sky. I've gotten that with like legs around his head, and it's great.
Yeah, the internet's gonna have a field day with this one.
Yeah, and that, I mean, why else would he have the bottom of his mask not there? I mean, come on, it makes sense.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's just for eating box. And let me tell you, man, if you go down on a chick, I think that constitutes you to be a hero to her. So
I'm saying their argument sort of seems the inverse of what they're trying to say.
The hero is in the eye of the beholder.
What's more selfless than doing that? You know, he's not thinking about himself.
I never understood that. Where like, I've never met that guy. I've never met a guy that's actually canceled anything and actually went through it. And I've never met a guy that's actually said, "No, I don't eat box." Like, you bitch about a girl that won't go down on you, but you won't go down on a girl. I mean, come on.
Like, who are you to even be asserting that?
Yeah, how about you get out of your high tower, your castle there, stop making moves.
Also, Batman and Catwoman, I mean, they've been flirting with each other for 70 years. I mean, it's about time, you know, something actually happened. We've seen them kiss, but...
I mean, I do it. I mean, I'm married now with a kid, so sex is few and far between. It's kind of like working out. Like, you know, you don't get to the gym very often, so you can count stretching as part of your workout. So I can't, you know, I don't last too long like I used to. So that's part of sex. So I can say that we had sex for 10 minutes instead of...
Geiger bringing the hot sports opinions.
Start the timer. I'm going down.
Hey, start. Hey, you're counting this, aren't you? This
Can
counts.
you imagine the
counts.
DC execs when they read the script? They were like, "What do you mean Batman goes down on Catwoman? Like, do you need us to explain that to you?
Do you need a visual?
Because we have it. That. We've storyboarded it. It's actually all Tom was drawing in the lobby, waiting for this meeting."
Those people that's like, yeah, I worked out for 30 minutes. Like, well, you stretch for 15 and then walked on the treadmill for like 10. Like, yeah,
calisthenics, get it.
There's a guy who walks in my neighborhood with two of those like 3-pound weights, and I'm like, what do you think this is doing for you?
He's trying to get lean. He's not trying to bulk up.
That's a good idea. But he has a fucking huge beer belly, so.
Damn it! I don't know then. I don't know.
He knows more about it than I do.
Oh man!
All right, I didn't know where that would go, but obviously, like this week, people online are just like, "What the fuck is happening in the world?" That this is a news article. DC has to be like, just when we think our public perception can't get any worse, now this comes out. We don't think heroes go down on chicks.
Well,
great.
It is a man's world. I believe him now. It's true.
I wonder if since they cut it out, like how Batman and Catwoman's relationship will be now that that scene's not in there. Like, is she mad at him or in a fight?
Do they just like sub the scene in with them like sitting on a couch watching Netflix or something?
Yeah.
I bet he let her give him head, so they're cool.
Oh, she can definitely blow him. He just can't go down on her.
Yeah, that's fine. Completely different situation. All right, for our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, and the American hero, Nate Thurmond. He's a hero, right? So you know.
Know all about it.
Yeah, we should ask him. Does he go down on chicks?
That's DC's opinion of heroes, so they're not always right. I am the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out. If this was the first episode of ours you ever listened to, it's probably the last as well. That's fine. We had a hell of a run. You can follow us on Twitter at BroForceSquad, although we probably won't tweet anything as funny as what Culture Crave tweeted this week. You can find us on Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. If you type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words, we'll come up there. And then everything that we post is on our website, broforcesquad.com. Until next time, I guess I need to look back up the definition of hero. I don't remember it including eating box, but maybe I just skimmed through it.
Does someone need to update Webster on what a hero is?
Yeah, this dictionary was written a long time ago. It says nothing about going down on a chick.
Heroes don't go down on chicks. Now, superheroes?
Mm-hmm. Selfless. Selfless.